say is that Time Magazine definitely took their due diligence to sit down with the two-time WNBA.
A'ja Wilson's latest interview has set the sports world ablaze. But it's not the usual chatter about her championships or MVP titles. This time, it's about an unexpected and powerful alliance with her rival, Caitlin Clark. Their story is about more than just basketball. It's about privilege, visibility, and breaking barriers in ways no one saw coming. In her explosive Time magazine interview, A'ja Wilson opened up about the struggles Black women face in sports. She was asked about Caitlin Clark's controversial remarks regarding white privilege, and her response was nothing short of powerful. Wilson didn't just nod along as she took the conversation to an entirely new level. As a Black woman in the WNBA, Wilson knows the challenges firsthand. It means a lot for us when someone in a position of privilege speaks up, she said. It wasn't just support, it was a call to action, pushing the conversation on race, privilege, and recognition further than it's ever gone before. But let's rewind for a second. Caitlin Clark, in an interview earlier this year, spoke candidly about white privilege. She admitted that, as a white athlete, she had advantages that others didn't. While she acknowledged her earned success, she made sure to highlight that the league's foundation was built by Black women. Her comments sparked intense backlash, some calling her brave, others criticizing her for opening up old wounds. But Clark's intention was clear: to amplify the voices that have been too often overlooked. She wanted to ensure that the league, built on the backs of Black athletes, recognized its history and pushed for more visibility and investment for Black players. She recognized her privilege and wanted to use it to benefit others. Yet the backlash was fierce, revealing just how sensitive these conversations can be, especially in a world that often wants to ignore the underlying issues. So, how did A'ja Wilson respond? Well, it was something the world didn't see coming. Not only did she agree with Clark's sentiments, but she went a step further. She shared her own struggles as a Black woman in the league. "We work 10 times harder just to be seen," Wilson said. She spoke candidly about how Black women in the sport are often overlooked, even when they're at the top of their game. The weight of it all is exhausting, yet Wilson's words were empowering. This wasn't just a conversation, it was a declaration. She was calling out the realities of the industry, exposing what's often hidden behind the shiny facade of sports. Wilson didn't stop at simply supporting Clark's statement. She dug deep into the very real issue of privilege in sports. For Black women in basketball, getting recognition isn't just about skill. It's about constantly fighting against a system that's designed to hold them back. And for Wilson, this isn't just some abstract concept. It's her lived reality. She made it clear. Every step forward as a Black woman in this industry comes with a battle, and it's a battle that often goes unseen. The struggle isn't just about making it to the top. It's about fighting to be seen and respected once you're there. It's about being in a constant battle for visibility, no matter how much success you achieve. But here's the kicker. Even after all of her accomplishments, 3 MVPs, championships, and countless accolades, Wilson feels like she has to prove herself constantly. She openly admitted that even at the pinnacle of her career, she still faces doubt. She says it's exhausting to have to fight for respect when her resume speaks for itself. And yet every single night, she steps onto that court, proving herself once again. But this time, she's not just proving her talent, she's proving that her voice matters. She's showing that Black women in sports shouldn't have to keep fighting for recognition. Now, this is where it gets interesting. While some may have expected Wilson to simply stay neutral, she went the opposite route. She stood by Caitlin Clark. This wasn't just about one player supporting another, it was about recognizing the larger issue at play, how privilege affects women's sports, and how the power of support can shift the entire conversation. Wilson's words are more than just endorsement. They're a powerful statement that when players like Clark speak up, it opens doors for others to walk through. When someone with Clark's platform acknowledges their privilege and uses it to elevate others, it's a game changer. It's not just about individual success, it's about collective success, lifting each other up. It's also about using their platforms to address the things that are often swept under the rug. For Wilson, speaking out isn't easy. She's well aware that when she voices her opinion, people come after her. It's not just about basketball anymore, it's about a responsibility to speak for those who don't have the same voice. It's about using her privilege as a professional athlete with a large following to push for systemic change. When she speaks, she knows she's not just representing herself, she's representing the countless other Black women who are working tirelessly to be seen and heard. What does this mean for the future of women's basketball? This is where the tides are turning. Wilson and Clark are doing something no one expected. They're reshaping the conversation. They're showing the world that basketball is more than just a game. It's a platform for change. And as the industry catches on, this could be the moment that transforms how women's sports are perceived and supported for generations to come. The conversation about race, privilege, and recognition in sports isn't going away. In fact, it's just beginning, and the impact of these conversations will be felt long after these players retire from the game. It's not just about what Wilson or Clark are saying, it's about the ripple effect these conversations will have. Other athletes will begin to follow suit, and the sports industry may be forced to take a hard look at how it treats women of color. Wilson and Clark are holding up a mirror to the industry, challenging it to confront its biases and privilege. They're not just talking about their own struggles, they're creating a platform for others to share their stories and experiences. And as this conversation grows, the world will have to reckon with the uncomfortable truths that have long been ignored. A'ja Wilson and Caitlin Clark have sparked a conversation that goes far beyond the court. By addressing privilege, visibility, and recognition, they're challenging what we know about star power in women's basketball. This isn't just a moment for basketball fans, it's a moment for anyone who's ever felt overlooked. As these two women continue to change the game, they're setting a new standard for what it means to be a champion, not just in sports, but in life. Their words have power, and they're using them to reshape the narrative surrounding women in sports. But the most fascinating part of this whole situation is the unexpected alliance between Wilson and Clark. These two women, once seen as rivals, are now united in a shared mission to elevate Black women in sports. It's a powerful statement about the need for solidarity in the fight for equality and visibility. Rivalries in sports are nothing new, but this partnership is something that could reshape how we think about competition and cooperation in sports. It's not about tearing each other down, it's about lifting each other up and using that strength to create change. In the end, it's about more than just basketball. It's about changing the way we view women's sports, about ensuring that athletes of color have the visibility and recognition they deserve. It's about using the power of sports to shine a light on important social issues and pushing for change in an industry that has often been slow to evolve. And as A'ja Wilson and Caitlin Clark continue to make their mark on the world, their actions will undoubtedly inspire future generations of athletes to speak up, challenge the status quo, and work together to create a more inclusive and equitable sports world. This is just the beginning. What started as a conversation about white privilege and the struggles of Black women in sports has now become a movement, one that could change the game for good. These two women are leading the charge, and it's up to all of us to listen, learn, and push for the changes that are long overdue.